Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for the unique talk show Beyond Education, inspiring stories to inspire the world, being organized by IDYM groups. The show is special as it initiates interactions with special people. It invites people from different professions from different parts of the world. Beyond Education brings to you inspiring stories of visionary educators, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders who overcame obstacles to create an extraordinary life. It is an excellent platform to learn from experience of the people who have flourished in the midst of adversity due to their dedication and hard work. We are honored to have our guest speaker with us, a global educator and STEM instructor from Greece, a very lovely and inspirational woman, Rania ma'am. I welcome you, ma'am, for the show. Rania Lampo ma'am is a global educator, STEM instructor, ICT teacher trainer, neuroeducation researcher, international keynote speaker, author of scientific books for kids, and Global Peace Ambassador in Greece. She has a postgraduate degree in language teaching related to cognitive neurosciences, and she's also a passionate researcher on cognitive neuroscience, neuroeducation, and neuromarketing. Currently, she is a STEM instructor at the Greek Astronomy and Space Company, annex of Salamis, and she's also working at the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation, where she writes theme projects for Greek schools. She promotes STEM vision by introducing STEM in astronomy and physics projects and combines STEM with language teaching. She is the founder and international coordinator of many innovative international projects that focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals described in a 2030 agenda. She is also an author of scientific books for development of kids. She's also an international executive member of Global Edu Leaders Forum, honorary ambassador of Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research, education ambassador and member of the International Organization of Educators and Researchers, ambassador of the National Education Policy 2020 of India, NEP 2020, and she is an editorial board member of many journals. She has presented her research in numerous international journals, conferences and e-conferences, and she has published work in various journals. So, ma'am, I once again welcome you, and we are really lucky. We are very fortunate to have you among us and to have an interaction with you today. So, ma'am, starting with the interaction, as you are a STEM educator, so what inspired you to be a STEM educator? Ma'am, please unmute yourself. You're not able to hear you.
Now am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So warm greetings from Greece. I would like to congratulate IDM for the amazing work all the team is doing every day. And also thank you for your kind invitation. As you already said, my achievements concern actually my whole educational work in education, innovation, science, international projects, research, peace, volunteerism, writing scientific book for kids. And my main interest is the combination of STEM with other fields of education, such as physics, astronomy, and language teaching. All this, of course, is to promote STEM vision, especially through projects to underprivileged children. So I'm working currently at the Greek Astronomy Space Company and also the Greek Ministry of Education. And how I was involved in this world of STEM, I was appointed, first of all, in public secondary education. But after 4 years, I moved to primary education. And this was actually a revelation because primary students are more flexible, more creative. So a turning point in my career, primary education, was my participation in a flexible zone program. A flexible zone is a cognitive discipline in Greece where teachers and students can implement the disciplinary projects. So there I had to teach particle physics to primary school students. It was a very innovative, pioneering STEM project, STEAM project actually, which was organized by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. And of course, it included many challenges. First of all, because the Greek curriculum does not include particle physics. So I had to design activities that would be challenging and attractive and engaging to my students. Had to redesign the curriculum to to select materials such as Lego, cardboards, or anything that would be attractive to students. And the outcome of this, of course, was amazing because the outcome was a production of original audiovisual and digital material, the form of educational resources about physics, about anyone who's interested in practical physics. I mentioned the first challenge was redesign the curriculum, but also second challenge, very important, it was that I worked in a school environment where students were coming from low socioeconomic background, and also the school had a terrible building infrastructure. So there were many days that we didn't have any room for technology, for instance. So how to teach STEM without technology? But we managed to overcome all these challenges, and our projects have already received over 200 awards. Students made amazing arts and crafts, the models of a particle CMS detector was located at CERN, many district presentations of natural scientists, we used many free digital tools who created a story timeline depicting the history of particle physics from Marie Curie till today. And since then, I am very active in STEM education as an active member of the Greek Astronomy Space Company. We organize many STEM workshops, lectures, seminars. We collaborate towards the popularization of complex concepts of astronomy, especially for underprivileged children. Why astronomy? Because astronomy, I think that children and adults also are very fascinated by astronomy, and this is very important area of knowledge. It teaches humans how to evaluate their place in the universe and helps us to see our lives through a different and more advanced perspective. And also, it's a way that can introduce them in an excellent way into our other scientific areas of knowledge too. So since then, we use space themes in order to increase students' interest in science, to enhance their scientific literacy, to improve their skills in STEM. In other words, to familiarize them with challenging teaching approaches so that they can cultivate, develop these 21st century skills, such as problem solving, collaboration, communication, the inquiry also process, and the challenge-based learning. So we talk about hands-on sessions, and apart from this, I'm the founder also of many international STEM projects.
Yes, ma'am. It was very interesting. Like, STEM is a challenging field after all. And like when I was reading your profile, there are so many things that, and especially working in STEM. Actually, if we speak about STEM overall in overall world, there are still less number of girls who are coming in STEM, and even if they come or they study the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics somewhere in school, they don't offer higher education or they don't go for careers based on STEM. So, what according to you are some of the reasons for this, and what are the possible solutions for this?
The truth is that the number of women in science and engineering is growing, but of course still men continue to outnumber women. And we can mention that among first-year college students, women are much less likely than men to say that they intend to major in science. By graduation, men outnumber women in nearly every science and engineering field, and some also points in computer science. So when it comes, for instance, to technology, only 38% of women have a degree or studies in computer science work. So we talk about the women STEM gap. Why? Of course, the reason behind this is long-standing biases and male-dominated cultures and gender stereotypes. Why? Because Usually STEM fields are considered as masculine. In other words, that they are not thought suitable for girls, or people think that they would be of little or no interest to them. And as a result, teachers and parents also tend to underestimate girls' math abilities and affinity for other STEM fields, especially in preschool. These dominated cultures, male dominated cultures, that I said, most STEM cultures have been formed mainly by men, and they are flexible, they are exclusionary. Another reason, very important, is the lack of female role models. Boys have a lot of role models to choose from when it comes to STEM fields, but it's not the same for girls, because women scientists are very underrepresented in textbooks, for example, in news, in science fiction, in fiction, in movies, in books, in video games. Scientists are usually men. So girls have fewer role models to look up to and aspire to, and this affects, of course, the way we use them. And there is also what we call math anxiety. This comes from female teachers. Female teachers seem to think that girls should try harder than boys when it comes to math. This is what we call math anxiety. This is the reason why female teachers seem to be stricter when they grade girls than they are with boys for the same work. So we talk about, in reality, it's a confidence gap. Is this misconception about math brain, because this, according to this myth, because the myth, men's brain is better suited to math, but research has shown again and again that there is no such a thing. There is no innate cognitive biological difference between boys and girls when it comes, for instance, to math. So these are the reasons, but there are, of course, many strategies that we can use, especially in higher education, because we can analyze the gender equality in enrollment and retention rates in STEM programs. So gender gaps need to be studied, need to be revealed, and this can happen only through collecting and analyzing data on a regular basis. Universities need to have organizational mechanisms that will make STEM programs more attractive to female students, more accessible to women, provide them with guidance, provide advice and information on gender issues. Also, the same happens also in secondary education, because in secondary education we need to raise awareness that girls and women are capable as boys, to promote public awareness to parents about how they can encourage daughters as much as sons in math and science, to also organize, expand the after school and summer STEM opportunities for girls. This is a great option. And of course, increase awareness of career opportunities, of pathway opportunities, of role models and mentoring programs with women in STEM. So we need to prioritize always diverse, inclusive, respectful environments, and that will include both girls and women.
Yes, ma'am. The number of girls, though it is increasing, there's still a gap is there, and if we want that the world should develop, and because technology is developing from there, so we need to reduce this gap always. So you have actually suggested a number of solutions, and they're really like very good solutions. And if you work on it, we will be able to reduce the gender gap surely. Ma'am, and when we are working with the STEM field, in fact, not in STEM, but all the other fields, some there critical thinking capabilities are required. So, how do you think we can be stimulating this critical thinking abilities of the students?
First of all, from an early age, children are exposed to a world of which is full of questionable information and inconsistencies. So by the time children can read competently, they are usually bombarded with advertisement, with misleading reports, with social media, which can play a very important role in their emotions and self-esteem. So we needed to help them approach all this information through a critical eye, so they can make independent judgments and develop what we call critical thinking. Critical thinking is a high-level skill, but children of 6 and 7 years old have been, according to research, have been shown to be capable of it within the limits of their experience and linguistic abilities. So there are many, I would say, many strategies for this. First of all, is what we call habits of mind. These habits of minds are thinking habits such as, I can mention something, how to encourage students to manage impulsivity, to think before speaking or acting, for instance. Other habit of mind and how to persist means to stick to task at hand, how to listen and understand with empathy, how to think flexibly. Because if we think flexibly, we're able to change perspective and to generate alternatives, to weigh options, to develop also metacognition skills, so thinking about the thinking, learning how to question and posing problems, to help students thinking and communication with clarity and precision. And apart from this, for instance, in this framework, I mentioned this technique which is called the brain sweat. And during these brain sweat time, students have set minutes to grapple with a challenging world problem. The goal here is not necessarily to finish the problem in this amount of time, but to spend this time only focusing on the problem and possible ways to solve it. So there are many ways. There is also what we call 16 hats, another very, very renowned model, a very modern technique and strategy. For instance, the yellow hat symbolizes brightness and optimism. So in this way, children can explore the positives and can provide the benefit. The white hat calls for information, and in general, this can help a student, this technique, what we call 6 thinking hats, help students to consider issues, problems, decisions, to use parallel thinking, to at the same time go beyond the obvious to discover effective alternate solutions. And of course, when we talk here about STEM, our research process, we talk about some steps of critical thinking that could be how to identify a problem or question, how to gather data or opinions or arguments, how to analyze and evaluate data, and to establish the significance of this, the comprehension, and finally how to present or communicate. So it's up to us to help students to develop critical thinking skills and encourage them to expose them to open-ended questions. This is also very interesting and very important.
Yes, ma'am, it is very important. Critical think, whether it is at a young age or even after you go to higher education, everywhere we need it, because everywhere we need to think properly, evaluate all the conditions in front of us, and take decisions. So critical thinking is always required. One more trend that is going on nowadays is we are encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship among the students. So somewhere, however, in India, like NEP 2020, even you are one of the promoters of that, you are very well aware of that. So how can we inculcate this habit of or this practice, or how can we encourage the students to go for innovation? Because somewhere in NEP also, it encourages the students to go for entrepreneurship rather than being becoming job seekers. They want the students to develop as job keepers. So how to encourage students for innovation? and entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship education is actually what cultivates innovative talents. It's a very, very important driving force for development. So what do we notice is that students are graduating, they lack the advanced skills in innovative thinking to walk through the modern day challenges because they are not graduating as doers, as makers, as cutting-edge thinkers that our world needs. So this entrepreneurship is a capacity to not only start the companies, but entrepreneurship is how to learn to think creatively and ambitiously and innovative ways. So it's this ability to turn ideas into actions, to take initiative, to take risks, to plan and manage projects with a view to achieving objectives. So this entrepreneurship education focuses on developing real-world skills that will help students to lead life in a rapidly changing world. This way, students can come up with their own unique business proposal, deliver multiple pitch presentations, so it's very interesting. They learn how to take action by addressing societal challenges and everyday problems. And this it's important because we prepare students for an uncertain future. We leave room for creativity and collaboration. And something I forgot to say, very important, is that we need to teach problem identification. Students need to learn how to identify problems before they learn how to solve them. Problem solving has been taught in school for decades, but problem identification is not being taught. And at the same time, entrepreneurship education helps us develop what we call grit. Grit consists of this passion and sustained persistence applied over long-term achievement. Successful entrepreneurs have this quality of grit. Entrepreneurship education, I think it's a lifelong process that has to start at elementary school and progressing through all levels of education, including adult education. And I want to say here, for instance, in Greece, that's a great step because our minister has introduced a new cognitive discipline, which has 22 thematic sessions, and our Ministry of Education has introduced entrepreneurship for the first time as an optional lesson. And this is a big step for Greece, a country that lags behind in terms of reforms. In general, in Europe, a European policy promotes a lot the integration of entrepreneurship education into the curriculum. Of course, this needs good initial teacher education because teachers, that they're not trained in something like that. So they need training, quality, continuing professional development, high quality programs for teachers. The support of the whole community when we talk about entrepreneurship, private, public sector, or parents also. And all this engagement of all key stakeholders. And also, I want to mention a very nice project that primary school students created here in Greece. Primary school students created a company. They divided their roles. One was the director, the other one was an advertiser, etc. So they created some classes that are through STEM technology, through Arduino. And these classes were addressed to people with visual impairment. So we have entrepreneurial skills here in this project. We have STEM, and at the same time, we have community-based learning because these students went out the community and reached out to donors and sponsors and parents, etc. So this also shows the magic of STEM, how in one project we can combine entrepreneurship, STEM, and community-based learning, which is also very trendy nowadays in education.
Yes, ma'am. We need to teach them what is innovation. And as rightly said by you, the first step is problem identification. Because though many projects are being made nowadays at the engineering level or all those who are working with STEM, they are not developing good kind of projects because they don't know what is the problem around them. They don't know the problem identification. And because they are not able to identify the problem, they are not able to come up with some good projects. And as you were talking, like problem identification, and then we have to go for finding its reasons, and then we are able to find the solution. But somewhere when we are working on a research, it is important to present it in front of the people. And one of the method is writing a research paper. So there is again lack of awareness among the youth, especially in the developing countries, to how to write a research paper and after writing it, where to publish it. Because there are a number of journals nowadays. So how should we train the students for writing research papers and publishing it in good journals?
Mhm. Unfortunately, most high school students graduate from high school without even producing one longer academic research paper. So students need to be encouraged to produce at least one research paper a year. And why? Because we need to learn them to each step of the process. How to choose, how to select the sources, how to take research notes, how to paraphrase, how to outline, how to write expository texts, how to cite, to make citations properly, and to educate them about plagiarism. Plagiarism is a very, very critical issue nowadays. And we need to insist on this, to focus on how students should avoid this. We need to integrate and think of it as a part of writing. For instance, we can encourage them to read widely and critically, because they say that the best writers are good readers. So we can train them to read in critical way, or create a journal club. It's also very common here in Greece. We can create a journal club, and in this way we can discuss the scientific content of papers. We can also invite questions about such topics, to make assumptions, discuss about the language that students can use. Of course, this could be encouraged through work activities. And in every way, we need to focus on the importance of the role of researchers in society in the future, because we need, unfortunately, the lack of genuine researchers, and students must start from this to realize the importance of the research in our world. This should be the start.
Yes, it should be done because before writing, they should actually read. We have to read a lot of research papers, and only after that we are able to like find up. Okay, this is something which I would like to work. This is something on which I should start writing. We have to develop those skills among the students. And nowadays, the technology that is trending again is artificial intelligence. It is nearly everywhere. So, how do you think, or what according to you, like artificial intelligence, how it will change the world?
First of all, we should talk about combination of artificial intelligence and human intelligence,
Yeah.
because only this combination can lead to the development of sophisticated innovations in the future. Of course, AI makes our lives more efficient. It powers many programs and services that can help us in our everyday things, such as how to connect with friends, how we use the smartphones, how we use drones. Our transports also have been transformed. It frees up, of course, the human workforce, and at the same time, we have more free time to spend with our friends. The best examples, as what I said already, the travel, navigation, smartphone devices, smartphones. This could also help the same cyber attacks and cyber crimes in manufacturing sector and transportation. And our intelligence is, we say, what makes us human, but AI is an extension of this quality. And as our collective intelligence improves, so we are beginning to create these machines that have a human-like abilities to learn and to make strategic decisions. As far as education is concerned, I think that AI can radically transform the education sector. Of course, we won't see humanoid robots acting as teachers in the next decades, but there are many and now software applications that use AI, and this makes AI as one of the most disruptive techniques to customize the experience of different learning groups of teachers and tutors, because it's not just transforming the way teachers can do the job, it's also revolutionizing the way students learn. So how this could happen, of course, will help teachers with automation, task automation. We all know that the teachers don't just teach, they spend time grading tests, evaluating homework, filling necessary paperwork. So AI helps us automate grading and assessment of activities. It helps what we call personalized learning, differentiate individualized learning, because these programs are custom tailored. So can help students at different levels work together in one classroom and facilitate learning. We can create also digital lessons updated all the time. And many efficiencies, many options to change the role of teachers changing here. And here, of course, there's another option, there's another we say opinion of people, the fear of people who think that AI could replace humans, and there is a fear of AI being a job killer, and of course the fear of super intelligence that AI will reach at a point where it will destroy humanity, where humans will become servant of technology. So, of course, these are actually only fears. I think that we should embrace all this new technology. Of course, when we talk about educators or principals, we need to, before implementing AI in schools, we need to identify our needs. We need to define strategic objectives of AI transformation in our school, how to find smart ways to control all this outcome of AI transformation. And we can leverage all these amazing tools. We have intelligent tutors, we have the translation capabilities. In special education, the Tut robot, for instance, is application which is applied, which is implemented for students with autism. So we have many efficiencies. It's definitely that AI will change the world. But of course, no, we have the threshold of a fifth industrial revolution. In fifth industrial revolution, humans should go along with machines, because experts of the fourth industrial revolution tell us that this has failed because we have ignored the human factor. So from now on, we need to design technologies, but always having in mind the human dimension.
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer now. Well, AI can change the world, but how far it is going to change and how it is going to impact our life, it again somewhere depends on us, how we are going to use it. and the fear that it is going to replace humans. I don't know how far it is going to happen, but still it is working because it is being used in every field, and we are combining different technologies with AI to fulfill our needs and requirements. It is being used everywhere. Now, like this, coming back to the normal class environment, we have just gone to research, innovation, and we reached till AI. But coming to the normal class environment, where I feel that after the pandemic, the role of the teachers and the students in the education system has changed. So, what, according to you, are those changes that has been brought due to the pandemic?
Mhm. First of all, we have seen that learning can be taking place anytime, anywhere. So, e-learning tools offer great opportunities for remote, self-paced learning. We have seen how learning is personalized now to students. So students have a choice in defining how they want to learn. That means that when we design the curriculum, we need to take into consideration their needs, their interest, their rhythm. How students will be should be exposed to more project-based learning, to more hands-on, of course. We have seen new methods of assessment because we don't have the conventional platforms. Now we have many new platforms that are emerged every day. We could say that this urges for redesigning the curriculum. After this period of the COVID pandemic, I think we needed to focus more on project-based learning, challenge inquiry, but learning to create a culture that accepts potential failures and develop the ability of students to turn these failures into valuable learning experiences, to encourage collaborative learning. We talk about new patterns of collaboration. For instance, to encourage to increase the collaboration between industries and schools, the collaboration between education institutions. Now, through the internationalization and all these global platforms, we can create joint thematic networks. We can have this peer-to-peer learning. We can have supporting structures, industry associations, create more opportunities. Actually, after pandemic, I feel that we have more opportunities, and of course, what would be the role of teachers is going to be more of a facilitator. It will be a facilitator, the guide. It will be the enabler of personalized growth. So this will require, of course, transformation in their approach to focus more on what we call outcome-based teaching instead of continuing with traditional ways. And this traditional transformation must also include key areas such as social inclusion, employability, student experience, societal impact, benefit for the society, and that's why the incorporation of sustainable development goals is very important in our lesson plan nowadays. Also, on the other hand, this is the role of a teacher. It's not the old sage, the sage who knows everything, but he's the one who guides. And on the other hand, learners do not need anymore instructor-led educational models that they try to engage through multiple sources of knowledge at their own pace. The focus of learners now is not on increasing knowledge, but how to develop the skills and how to harmonize this with their personality and their mental health. So this is why the curriculum now of the future after this COVID pandemic has to be created in a way that caters to their evolving needs. I think that this is very important, how to promote all these 21st century skills promote a very important collaboration because with the COVID pandemic, we had the social distancing, all these issues, and how to make free and open source technologies available to teachers and students. So, of course, we need curriculum redesign, as I said before, blended learning, it's here to stay, lifelong learning, and new literacies such as data literacy, technological literacy, and human literacy.
Yeah, after the pandemic, actually, the online platforms, though they existed earlier, but it is only during the pandemic that most of us have learned to use it, and it is being used in education. And after the pandemic has ended, though the normal online classes have ended somewhere, but it is continuing. A lot of online platforms are there for getting educated, and somewhere learning has become easier. But one thing that is being observed nowadays that this all the children, especially children, they're having gadgets with them, especially the mobile. So they are spending a lot of time on the mobile. And after the pandemic, somewhere the cases of mental health has increased. So how to deal with this? How to generate awareness among the youth so that the we can be like actually decreasing the mental health problems.
All the statistics and researches showed that the COVID pandemic impacted many children's and adolescents' mental health and well-being. So as a teacher, it's essential to listen, first of all, to our children's concerns, to offer them the opportunity to have a one-to-one conversation with us, first of all, to reconnect and discuss any concerns that may have arisen, and to check, of course, how children are doing and to reassuring that everything is fine, to seek suggestions from children on how we can create a welcoming, safe, and comfortable classroom. So engage children in making this classroom a safe and comfortable space. Children can provide suggestions. They can help, for instance, decorate the walls of the classroom with colorful and welcoming messages and work in small groups so that they can support each other, catch up on learning. We can let them know that they should be supportive of one each other and help them get through this together. Something we can say that during the COVID pandemic, when I first read about the impact of this crisis on mental health, I wrote an article in the national magazine. It's had a great impact worldwide. It's actually how to teach in the coronavirus age using brain-based strategies, using the principles of neuroeducation. And these principles of neuroeducation, brain-based strategies, is first of all, how to create positive emotions, because emotion is closely related to learning. And our feelings and thoughts are our thoughts are shaped by our emotions. So the first is this: how to encourage students to express themselves and their experiences during the COVID pandemic. How to create arts, because arts have a liberating, a cathartic role in the soul, in the human soul. How to enhance collaboration, social skills, through how to collaborate the platforms. We have many tools, we have blogs, we have wikis, we have many platforms that can help students interact through collaborative projects, and also our brain needs to feel security, so we need to reassure our students that everything is going to be fine, and to reassure them also that teachers should be in their side, next to them.
Yes, teachers should have to be their side, and parents they need to like pay attention to the youth so that this problem gets solved. now, like coming back to your achievements, there was a long list of achievements. Actually, due to lack of time, I could not read all of them. But still, what according to you is the biggest achievement of your life?
Biggest achievement are my international STEM project, humanitarian projects that are focused on sustainable development goals. The most important for me was it's called Waterline Given Thread. It's a project which is addressed mostly to students in Africa, students in Malawi. We're talking about students who didn't have any school supplies at all. The students were thirsty. Students who had to walk about 90 minutes to find clean water to drink. Through this project, I collaborated with teachers in Malawi. I tried to help them financially, first of all. Secondly, I designed activities that could include only natural resources, for instance, sand, wood, branches of trees, stones, not because I know very well that they don't have school supplies. And they did amazing things. They performed physics experiments using water. They learned how to filter and sanitize their water. They created mind maps using branches of stones, of trees. They created models of boats using wood. Amazing things. And the impact of this project was that we managed to obtain sanitation filter equipment from some churches and organizations in USA. And also we managed to drill 6 wells in these areas of Malawi where students had to walk about 90 minutes to find clear water. So the first one was this. Another similar problem was about food. It's called Food for Thought. It was implemented in India, and it was approximately the period of the COVID pandemic, and it actually focuses on healthy food combinations, how to teach healthy food combinations in case of food shortage. So this project actually inspired Indian teachers who visited slums and students and their families. They educated them, they gave them money, and this also has a great impact. Another one project that I'm very proud of is called Gender-Based Values, Why Peace is a Much Better Option. And this program was inspired by high rates of gender-based values in Nigeria and combines against STEM education with gender-based values awareness. Another program here in Greece have launched in the Greek Ministry of Education where I'm working. It's about environment and climate change. It's called the Suez for Change in the Year's Climate. I teach also as a volunteer because I love volunteerism and service learning. I teach as a volunteer STEM to children at the Biological Hospital. These children who are suffering from depression and terminal diseases, they are very, very, they're very, very excited with these kinds of activities. Also, I did STEM as a volunteer to refugees and to students with special education needs. Because recently for this, I was appointed in Greece as International Ambassador for Volunteerism and Education in the Greek Academy Help Hellas. And our role here is how to integrate volunteerism in the school curriculum. It's something that has already been done with the new reform that I mentioned before, the new educational reform. The entrepreneurship and volunteerism has been integrated in our Greek curriculum. The second is how to create networks of Greek volunteers all around the world that could help each other and spread this message of volunteerism to a small country like Greece. And apart from this, another one was to help students, teachers in Zambia to design their curriculum, to redesign, modernize the curriculum for STEM activities. So this is, I think, the most important achievement. And this is always my main inspiration are the privileged children. I try to help them and offer the best to them.
You have been doing a wonderful job. It is amazing, ma'am, to just listen to your achievements. And in fact, I must say you are a very inspiring person. You are an inspiration to many of us. Well, now there must be someone who must have inspired you. You must be having some role models or someone with whom you were inspired. So, who was your inspiration?
It was a French teacher from high school, which actually inspired me to learn French. So I know very well French. And also, French was my first degree. They have been teaching French for years, also, apart from all the others.
Ma'am. Very good, ma'am. And to come to the end of the session, but before going, what are your future goals, ma'am?
In the future, I would like to write more education international step project. I would like to help more with the privileged children. I would like to write more a certificate book for kids. And now, in the ministry, I have launched a workshop. This, the last year, I launched a pilot workshop, STEM workshop for schools twice a week. Students come in the ministry and we train them through STEM activities. And also we have another seminar on cybersecurity, again here in the ministry. And I'm writing a new one, which will be launched next year, a third one for the Greek ministry. It's about coding and programming. So I have a lot of plans actually, and I hope to manage to to balance my work life and professional life and personal life, which is very difficult.
Yeah, ma'am. That's really good to know. Like you want to work for underprivileged children, especially for them, and you want to write more of books, and you have actually decided so much, planned so much, and we hope that all that you have planned, you are able to execute it, and you achieve more success in your life. And just a last question that you were saying, it is difficult to manage personal and professional life. Yes, even I agree to it. But how do you manage that?
How do I manage this balance?
Yeah, personal and professional life.
I think I have great difficulty in managing. I think that I'm not appropriate to respond. But when I have time, I'm not, first of all, consider I'm single. I'm not married because I'm dedicated only to my work many years now. So I sacrificed family for my work. But when I have free time, I try to share my free time with my friends. So this is the only way that I can balance my personal and professional life.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us on the show and sharing your inspiring journey with all of us. And it was really an inspiring session to inspire the world, and that too with lot of knowledge today. So thank you very much, ma'am, for joining the show. I again thank especially Ravi sir for the opportunity and IDYM for such a lovely platform that invites people from all over the world to share their stories, to share their knowledge. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, ma'am. Good night, ma'am.
Invitation.